Hello everyone. Today we will see the Excel VBA, Visual Basic for application from the beginners level. This is the exercise file we are going to do. Here we will open the Excel file vehicles.xlsx. This is the vehicles details containing Excel workbook. This is the developer tab from Excel workbook. If there is no developer tab in your computer, go to the file menu and from option, from the customize ribbon, you can see in the right side there's developer tab. If this is not ticked, you can tick this and click OK. Then the developer tab will appear in your computer. From the developer tab, in the left side, there's macros and Visual Basic and record macro. You can click the record macro button. The record macro application will appear and you can define the macro name. Here we are going to add formats to this worksheet, that is inventory. So we will type the name add formatting. Here the first letter of the word should be in capital. See, in the add A is capital, in formatting F is capital. There should not be space or any special characters. So we can use shortcut keys as well. Here we will select this workbook. If we select personal macro book, then it will be visible to all workbooks. When we open any workbook, this macro will be visible in any of the workbook. So we need this macro only for this workbook. So we will select this workbook. Here we can give description. What are we going to do in this macro? Here we are going to add a row, a first row. Then we are going to give topics and we are going to make them bold, and all columns are going to be center alignments and auto fit. These formattings we are going to do. We can give them in the description, add new row in the top, and we are going to give topics. Topics, bold, center alignments and auto fit. We can give the description as per our requirement. Okay. Now we can see the macro is started to recording. This is showing stop recording. So after making the formatting, we can stop the recording. Now we will select the row 1 and we can insert one row by clicking Ctrl and plus button. We can add new row here. Then we will type the topics. This is VIN, vehicle identification number. This is year, make, model, classification, color, dealer, cost. And finally, this is MSRP. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, we will select the first row and make this bold, Ctrl and B. Now we will select this column from A to H. From the home menu, we can make this center, middle alignment and center alignments. Right? And then from the home menu, in the right side, under the cells group, from the format, we can select auto fit column width. What we wrote in the description, all things covered here. Now we will go to the developer menu and we will stop the recording. Now the macro is recorded for add formatting. Now we will go to the macros from the second left section from the developer menu, we can see the add formatting macro is here. We can run this macro by double clicking that add formatting, or select this one and click the run button, or else if we create the shortcut, we can use the shortcut as well. Also, to take this macro, the shortcut is Alt F8. When you press the Alt F8, we can get this macro box. We'll go to the C2 and Alt F8 to get the macro box. We will double click this or select this add formatting and run. Yes, here you can see from the inventory sheet also the same here in the C2. Right. Now we will go to the Visual Basic Editor VBA, that is here. We can switch the Excel window and the Visual Basic Editor window by clicking Alt F11. See, I am pressing Alt F11. The windows will be switched. Now this is some other macros I did earlier for some different purposes, that is in the personal VBA project. We don't need that. Now we are using the VBA project vehicles, that is this one. Under that, module 1, and there are 3 sheets. Sheet 1 that is renamed as inventory, here this one, and sheet 2 and sheet 3, and this workbook also here. Now this is the module 1. What we recorded in the Excel, that codings are in the module 1. First, we can rename this module. From the insert, we can add more modules. From view menu, we can get the properties window. The shortcut is for the properties window F4. When you click the F4 or from view menu, properties window, you will get this dialog box in the left side. Now the module 1 is selected. So here, double click this name and select this module 1 name. You can rename the module 1. We can name this as MOD, the first 3 digits of the module, MOD, and the module name is add formatting. MOD add formatting. We don't need to use MOD always. This is not a rule, but convention. Okay, now we can enter this after writing the name, module name. Now you can see the module name is renamed as MOD add formatting. Right. Now we can see this is the sub procedure. Add formatting is our macro. Here you can see this is the comment in green color. Before that, apostrophe is there. After the apostrophe, what we are writing, that will be comment. The macro name is as comment after recording the macro. What we wrote in the descriptions also as comment here. What is our description? Add new row in the top, topics, bold, center alignments, and auto fit. Okay, now we don't need this. Okay, we can remove them. Now what we did first in the recording macro, we add a row, that is rows 1 to 1 dot select. Okay, then we select the range A1 cell. We select that, so dot select. Then we activate the cell and named it as BAN. Then another cell B1 is selected and we named as year. Likewise, we named A1, B1, C1 each cells as these topics. Then finally, After renaming that, we select that rows 1 colon 1 within open and close parenthesis, and then double quotes open and close. Within that, 1 colon 1. Then the row 1 is selected. Dot select. It means row 1 is selected. Then selection dot font dot bold. The selected first row is bold. Is true means it is bold. If this is false, that is not bold. If this is true, the selection is bold. Then column A to H dot select. We selected the column A to H. Then within the width, the selection is the column selection A to H. We did the horizontal alignment and the vertical alignment. And these are the things we don't need here. We can remove them after starting with end with. Finally, here the selected column A to H from here, after the central and vertical these alignments, the selected columns selection dot columns, we did them auto fit. So selection dot columns dot auto fit. So all columns auto fit. Right? After that, we stop the macro. Source end sub. We can give a empty row here. Done. Now from the tools menu, in the options, we can see in the editor, we can tick all checkboxes, and editor format, we can change our font size as well. I change this to 12. It is good to me. Okay. You can see in the toolbar option, here we can right click, and from customize, we can add some options here. Save, cut, undo, redo, run. These are here. From the debug, we can add compile project here. Double click this compile project and then close. It will appear after this question mark. I already added this. I added compile VBA project and uncomment block and command block for my easy. Okay. Now select the cursor between the sub and the end sub. Now we can click the compile VBA project. If there is any debug, it will show us. So I click that, so there is no errors. We can run the macro now. Before that, we will save this Excel workbook. From file menu, save this vehicles Excel SX workbook, or Ctrl S is a shortcut. The following features can't be saved in macro free workbooks. This is a VB project. To save a file with these features, click no, and then choose a macro enabled file type in the file type list. To continue saving as macro free workbook, click yes. This is a macro workbook, so we are going to click no, and we are going to save this as macro enabled workbook. This is vehicles workbook, so from this drop down save as type, we are going to select Excel macro enabled workbook. See, Excel macro enabled workbook dot XLSM. Save. Now this is saved as macro enabled workbook. Now I will switch this by shortcut Alt F11. Excel window will appear. Now we can check this. In the C2, we will remove this first row, delete. Okay. Alt F8 is the shortcut to get macro window. Just double click the add formatting module. The macro is running. Right. Now click Alt F11 again to jump to the VBE. Here we can see there are seat 1 inventory and seat 2 and seat 3 are there. Now here we will remove this seat 2. We will delete this one. We don't need it anymore. Here in the seat 3 from the properties window, in the first option also the seat 3 and here also the seat name here. To change the seat name in the workbook, worksheet name, here we can double click this name and from here we can change the worksheet name. We'll change this as new vehicles. We will enter that. Now we can see the worksheet name changed here as new vehicle. Okay, now we will close this VB editor. Now in the new vehicles sheet, we are going to add new vehicles data here. So we will record a new macro from developer menu. Record the macro. We will name this macro as get new vehicles. We can give description as copy new vehicles data from received vehicle workbook. Okay, click OK. Now it is started to record the macro. To open the received vehicles workbook, Control O, the shortcut. Received vehicles is in the desktop. You can open that workbook. Now I will click one of the cell here and Control A to select all data and Control C to copy all data. Then from view menu, from switch windows option, I will move to the vehicles.xlsm workbook window. Now I will paste this. Shortcut is Control V. Now I will switch the window again from view menu, switch windows to go to the received vehicles workbook. Now I will close this workbook. Here I will save this workbook vehicles.xlsm. Shortcut is Control S to save this. Now the macro recording is completed. Now I will stop the macro recording from developer menu. Stop recording. Done. Now we will move to the Visual Basic editor and we will check. Yes, the get new vehicles, the macro is here. Now we can cut this and we can paste into new module. From insert menu, we can add new module here. Module 1. We can paste this here. Right. This is the module add formatting. MOD add formatting. We rename this. This is the new module. The second macro. Get new vehicles. The description is here as comment. Also the macro name as also in the command. Okay, what we did, we opened the workbook, workbooks.open. The file name is here. File name equal space underscore. Then the file path will be there. The received vehicles file path is this one. This is under the C folder in my computer. Path will be within the double quotes opening and the close double quotes. Then I select the range A1 to B11. That is dot select means I selected that range. Then the A2 cell is range is activated. Here we will not use cell. We will use as range. Then I copied the selection dot copy. Then I activated the Windows vehicles. I switched the Windows vehicles.xlsm.activate. I switched the Windows to this one. Then active sheet.paste. And then I paste that copied data into this vehicle workbook. Then Windows vehicles receive vehicles dot xlsx dot activate. Then I switch the windows to this workbook, receive vehicles work. Then I close that workbook, activate active window dot close. After closing that receive vehicles workbook, I save the workbook vehicles dot xlsn, that is active workbook dot serve. Finally, end sub. The sub procedure is end. Now we can check this. Click here between sub and end sub. Compile VBA project. There is no debug, so code is correct. Now we will save this. Now switch the window, Alt F11. Now we will remove this. Okay, Alt F8 is the shortcut to get this macro. Get new vehicles. Just we will run this. Wherever we are clicking this, that will appear here. Here, wherever we select the cell and we run the macro, the data should be pasted A1 cell. So what we are going to do here, before paste this copy data, after this, I will write, what I am going to do is, I will copy this and I will paste here. Range here, A1, range A1 dot activate. So I will activate the range A1, then I will paste the details. This one I missed to do it when I record the macro. So I write my first code here. Okay, now we can compile this. Serve this. Now we will run this. If I click here and run the macro, then macro will run from A1 cell. If this line is not there, wherever we are clicking and we are running the macro, the data will be copied and pasted here. So now there is no problem. Now we add this code after this line, range A1 is activated. Then we paste the copy data here, active C dot paste. Now we will run this macro. Alt F8, get new vehicles, run. Right, it is copy and pasting here. Now this is fine. Now what we are going to do here, enter. After the end sub, we will go to the insert, then we will click the procedures. Add procedure dialog box will appear here. Here there are three types: sub, function, property. This is the sub function. And from scope, there are public and private. Public means we can access this macro from anywhere from this workbook. Private scope cannot be accessed anywhere from this workbook, only from that module. But public scope can be accessible from any module from that workbook. So here we will write a new name, move cells. We are going to move some cells. Click OK. Here we will get the public sub. Okay, this is also the public sub. This is not the private sub. This also, if we put the public before the sub, that also public procedure. This also public procedure. Here we will enter 2 times. Here we will write our code. Press tab key 1 time. We are going to copy this B column. We are going to select this B column and copy, and we are going to paste it in the G column. So column, the first letter is capital, column B, column B, within parentheses and double quotes, column B dot select. Okay, we will enter that. Our first code is written here. Then what we are going to do, we are going to copy this. Selection dot copy. We copied the selection. Now what? Column G. We are going to paste this in the column G. Column G dot select, enter, active sheet dot paste. Right. We copied the column B, selected column B and copied that, then select the column G and paste it. Active sheet. Okay, columns, columns. The spelling should be correct. Now we will compile this. Right, there's no debug here. Now we will save this. Just switch the windows, Alt F11. Now we will check this. Alt F8, move cells. Run this. Yes, it copy and pasted here. But what we want is, we will remove this. Alt F11. We have to cut this, not copy. So cut. Right, we'll compile this. Okay, it is done. Okay, Alt F8, move cells. Yes, now it is cut and pasted here. Right, now after this we will write one more sub procedures. This also public procedures. The macro name get inventory. Now what we are going to do, we are going to call the procedures. That is calling procedures. We are going to call 3 procedures here. A tab key. Here what we are going to call this macros. The add formatting macro. And this one we will change this module name as new vehicles. MOD new vehicles. Enter. Right, that's fine. Add formatting and get new vehicles and move cells. All 3 macros we are going to call here. So first we will call get new vehicles. Second one, move cells. Okay. Third one, first one what we did, we get the new vehicles data from receipt vehicles workbook. Then we move the cells. We copy this B column and paste it in the G column. That is this one. After that we are going to add formatting. So that what we did in the first macro, add formatting. Now we are going to call these procedures in the sub procedures of get inventory. Now we can compile this. Get new vehicles, right? Vehicles S. That's the advantage of compile VBA project. Right. Now we will save this. Before that, from the MOD add formatting module, we can remove these 2 rows. Select the first row and insert a row. That one. We already inserted that first row here. Now we don't need to add, we don't need to run anymore. If we run this, this will be added one more time. So already this is added. Now we will remove this. Okay, we will save this. From the second module new vehicles, we will run this get inventory procedure. Okay, here we will remove this. When we call the sub get inventory, all those 3 procedures will be called. So Alt F8 is the shortcut. Get inventory. Where it is this one? We will run this module. Yes. The first thing we copied these 2 columns from the receive vehicles workbook. Then in the move cells, we copied this B column and pasted it in the G column. In the add formatting, we created these topics and this formatting. So all together, we call these procedures all together. And one more thing, In the sheet 3 named as new vehicles, double click here. Here in this drop down, object drop down, we can select the worksheet. This is for that particular worksheet, and select the activate here. From here, procedure, that is activate. The object is worksheet, procedure is activate. This is not the one we need. This is the one we need. That is activate this worksheet. This is private. This can't be accessible to the all modules from this workbook, only for this particular worksheet. Okay, here what we are going to do, enter 2 times tab key in the second module new vehicles. The all 3 modules hold here, all 3 procedures. That is this get inventory. So we'll copy this in this new vehicle sheet. We will paste it here. Right. We'll compile this. Right. No issues. Now what we are going to do in the workbook. Okay. We will remove this. Okay. Now we will select this another one of the sheet. Now we will select where in which sheet we created the private procedures here. That is in the new vehicle sheet, private procedures. That is get inventory. Now we will click the worksheet new vehicles. You can see the all procedures hold here. See that get inventory. Hold all these procedures, that is named as get inventory. In the particular sheet, we created the private procedures, that is get inventory. When we click this different sheet and come back to that sheet, that get inventory procedures will be called. Right. Now we will add one more module. Here, this is function. Function procedures, MSRP status. We are going to check the MSRP status. Within the parentheses, we will write the parameters MSRP. Right. The function procedures is created. Double time enter. Here, we will use the if function. If MSRP status less than, here you can see from the inventory sheet. This is the MSRP. Okay. MSRP is less than 20,000. Then we'll write then. Then if then one time tab, we can print what? Or we can print here. Then MSRP status is equal to, within double quotes, less than 20,000. The message will be like this. MSRP less than 30,000. Then what we will print, MSRP status is equal to, within double quotes, less than 30,000. Else, hold on, but we will print MSRP status is equal to, within double quotes, greater than equal to 30,000. Now we have to end this if function. End if. Then the procedures end function. End if and end function. Right. Now we will check this by compile VBA project. Done. Now we will save this. Now we will move to the workbook. Alt F11. Here we can check equal MSRP status, that is here. Just press tab key, just click this cell, close parenthesis and enter. This is less than 20,000. So from this mark plus mark, we can double click here. It will be applied to all. This is a user defined function. From formulas, in the insert function, we can see from most recently used or from user defined, we can see MSRP status is here. Right, now we will remove this. We can do few more things here in the add formatting. After the auto fit, we will copy this, paste it here. What we are going to do for this column G and H, we are going to apply the currencies, the accounting. So G and H. So G to H dot select. Okay, column G to H dot select. Columns G to H dot select. Then selection dot style. We are going to add new style here. That is currency within double quotes. So for the column G and H, we are going to add currency accounting. Okay, we'll compile this and we'll save this here. Okay, we will run this again. Alt F8. Which one we are going to run? Add formatting. Right. Okay, the currency is updated. Okay, done. Thank you. We will see in the next VBA session.